Welcome everybody. We're all here to share some very special moments to see the Chuppa of Oren and Karen. We have a nice mixed crowd here, an international crowd. We're probably divided up into two groups. There are the local Australians and there are the Israelis who are here with us. And the only difference between the Israeli crowd and the local crowd, everybody's looking at their watches now. But the Australian crowd is looking and saying, how come it's starting so late? The Israelis are saying, how come it's starting so early? But we're uniting Australia and Israel, Jewish traditions right here in Sydney, and Oren and Karen, who've made their home here in Sydney. And today, under the Chuppa, you're being united, your souls are being united as one. And it is a very special blessing. The skies are smiling upon us. The heavens are smiling down at you on this day. And standing under the Chuppa is a very magical and special moment. It's a moment that should last your entire lives. You should always be able to look back at these few moments that are going to go by in the next couple of minutes and draw energy and blessing from these moments. And so you're surrounded by your loved ones, by people who are here because they love you and are happy to celebrate with you. We also have, in spirit, family who couldn't make it, who couldn't be here physically, but are thinking of you now. In addition, we have souls from the heaven. 3 to 4 generations of souls that come down from the heavens to be here. Those who have passed on to be present at this moment. So you're surrounded by the most perfect love, the most support, all the appropriate feelings and energy for you to take this next step in your lives. But most importantly, you're standing under the Chuppa. The Chuppa itself represents God's presence, the Shekhinah, the divine presence that encompasses the two of you, that can include both of you. That the secret of marriage and the blessing of having a Chuppa, the uniqueness of it is that higher energy, something higher than the two of you is coming into your relationship. You're already a great couple with a great relationship and blessings on the way, all good things that you have already. But the one thing that the Chuppa is adding that you can't have without the Chuppa is God's print, God's stamp of approval, the smiling from the heavens. And that's what we're here to do under the Chuppa right now. So all the customs, all the traditions, all the Jewish traditions that we're going to go through today are to bring that spiritual element into your relationship, that your souls should unite as one and become one. So the first thing, we're standing under the Chuppa, and Karen came and made circles around you, Oren. This is a very powerful moment. Somebody mentioned Joshua, Yeshua, the biblical story. There's a connection to the biblical story that Joshua, the great leader of the Jewish people, led the Israelites into the land of Israel. They wanted to conquer the land, but they came to the city of Jericho. And Jericho was a walled city, walled all the way around. They couldn't penetrate. So God told the Israelites, walk around the city 7 times. The walls came tumbling down and they were able to enter into Jericho. Jericho was called the heart of Israel. Once you conquer Jericho, you have the land. So too, every man has a wall around his heart. That the men are told not to open their emotions too much, not to show too much weakness. But there's one smart woman, a clever woman, that is able to penetrate that wall. And I think Karen may have penetrated that wall a while ago.
It took her a while to actually.
And in Oren's case, the wall wasn't all that thick either. But under the Chuppa, Karen, what you've done by walking around Oren, what you said is that Oren will be the center of your life. You will run rings around him. You'll surround him with love. You'll always be devoted to him. You'll make an atmosphere for him in your home and in your family where he feels absolutely comfortable that he can open himself up. There's nothing for him to hide. And Oren, you stood firmly in the center of that circle. You were saying to Karen that you will not budge. You will always be there. You will always be the center of her circle. And whatever she is or whatever she's doing, you'll be watching her. You'll be looking over her. You'll be the anchor. This is what every woman wants in a man and every man wants in a woman. And that is what you're symbolizing today under the Chuppa. So now I'm going to make some blessings over a cup of wine. In the Jewish tradition, we always use wine in our ceremonies. On Friday night, we make Kiddush over a cup of wine. In a couple of weeks' time, we have Pesach. We make a Seder of 4 cups of wine. When there's a Brit, God willing, soon, we do it over a cup of wine. We always use wine in all of our ceremonies. The reason for this is that wine is a very special drink, a very unique thing. All other foods go bad, decompose, go off. They go rotten. Whereas wine improves with age. It gets better and better as it gets older. This is a very spiritual drink. Just like the body rots, it goes bad, it decomposes. Our physical presence will not last, but our spiritual presence, our soul, lasts forever. The fact that wine improves with age shows that it has a bit of a spiritual sense to it. And so we're blessing you under the chuppah that the relationship you have should be like wine. It should improve with age because it's based on spiritual values that you share, on the beautiful Jewish tradition that you've inherited from your families. That will last forever and it will grow stronger and stronger as time goes by. I'm going to make two blessings over the wine. The first blessing is Borei Pri Hagafen, the familiar blessing over wine itself. And the second blessing is thanking God for the amazing gift of marriage that He is bestowing upon Oren and Karen today. And I'll ask everybody here to please join me when I make the blessings to respond Amen. Amen is a Hebrew word that means Amen. And there's no translation for it. It works in every language. And it means that you all here are participating in the blessings. You're agreeing with the blessings and you are showering your blessings on Oren and Karen as well. So please respond Amen to the two blessings. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu al harayos v'aseh lanos harusos v'hitel lanos hanosos lanu al yidei chuppa v'kiddushin. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Am Yisrael al yidei chuppa v'kiddushin. The placing of the ring. In the Jewish tradition, we do not have an exchange of rings. It's very particular that the groom, the Chatan Oren, will give the bride Karen a ring. She does not give one back under the chuppah. It's not an exchange. And that is because the ring is your circle, Oren. Karen has made her circle around you. She walked around you. Now you're giving your circle to her. Your infinite bond to her. A circle has no beginning and no end. And by giving her the ring, you're giving all of yourself to her. Your entire being. And Karen, when you accept this ring from Oren, it's not just the ring you're accepting, but it's him and everything that goes with him, his entire being. You're accepting it with your entire being. The ring also represents a link in the chain, in the Jewish chain. The Jewish tradition, we've used rings for thousands of years. Every generation has added a ring, another link in the chain, going all the way back to the very first Jewish couple, Abraham and Sarah. And now you are adding a link in that eternal chain. And God willing, your children and grandchildren will add their links in the eternal Jewish chain of tradition. So I'll ask, I will be a witness together with my friend Levi Joseph. You can step forward. We are the independent witnesses. We're the exclusive witnesses for this. And first of all, we examine the ring, that it's of value. Yeah. Now, it belongs to you, the ring. Yeah. Taking your right hand, lift it in the air to show that it belongs to you. And then give us your right index finger.
הרי את מקודשת לי בטבעת זו כדת משה וישראל.
אמן.
Behold your betrothed to me through this ring according to the law of Moses and Israel.
Amen.
Your souls are now one.
You may not kiss the bride.
אבל לאט לאט.
Okay. Now I'm going to read the Ketubah. The Ketubah is the Jewish marriage document that attempts to put into words the commitment that Oren and Karen are making to each other today. Interestingly, this is written in the Aramaic language. It's not in Hebrew, it's in Aramaic. That was the spoken language of the Jewish people for many, many thousands of years. And it's still used because it's very accurate in putting into words the commitment you're making to each other. In this document, it says, just like Oren just mentioned, that you're marrying Kedat Moshe Yisrael. You're marrying according to the law of Moses and Israel, which means you're not just a couple getting married in a bubble, but you're getting married within the context of Jewish tradition. So all the blessings, all the wisdom of Jewish tradition, 4,000 years of experience of marriage is all coming down to you now, and you're continuing that along. I'm going to read it in the original, in the Aramaic. Even the Hebrew speakers here won't understand most of it, particularly in my Ashkenazi accent. But we'll let the words speak for themselves. They have a poetry of their own. Baruch Hashem, be'echad b'Shabbos, echad v'esriyim l'chodesh Adar Hasheni. Shnas chamesh esolof l'shvameis v'shivim v'achas. L'bris of eight. We now come to the Sheva Brachot, the 7 blessings of joy. In these blessings, we bless you, Oren and Karen, that you should be blessed like Adam and Eve. Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehakol bara l'chvoidoi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer ha'adam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yotzer es ha'adam b'tzalmoi, b'tzelem demos tavnisoi, hiskin lo mimenu binyan ad yad. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'adam. So es klasis v'sagel akara, b'kibutz ben elosecha v'simcha. Baruch atah Adonai, Samech Tzion b'vaneha. Samach v'samach reima huvim, Kusamech v'cho yitziruk v'gan Eden mikedem. Baruch atah Adonai, Samech chasan v'chala. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher baras asem v'simcha chasan v'chala. Gila rina ditzach v'chedva ava v'yachva v'shalom v'reyuz meheira Adonai Eloheinu shama v'yarihuda u'v'chutzos Yerushalayim kol sason v'kol simcha kol chasan v'kol kahana kol mitzalos chasan v'chuvasam u'niyanim v'mishne nigasam baruch atah Adonai v'samech chasan im hakala. Amen. Okay, it's a great blessing to drink from the leftovers of the cup from Katan and Salah. Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehakol bara l'chvoidoi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer ha'adam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yotzer es ha'adam b'tzalmoi, b'tzelem demos tavnisoi, hiskin lo mimenu binyan ad yad. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'adam. So es klasis v'sagel akara, b'kibutz ben elosecha v'simcha. Baruch atah Adonai, Samech Tzion b'vaneha. Samach v'samach reima huvim, Kusamech v'cho yitziruk v'gan Eden mikedem. Baruch atah Adonai, Samech chasan v'chala. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher baras asem v'simcha chasan v'chala. Gila rina ditzach v'chedva ava v'yachva v'shalom v'reyuz meheira Adonai Eloheinu shama v'yarihuda u'v'chutzos Yerushalayim kol sason v'kol simcha kol chasan v'kol kahana kol mitzalos chasan v'chuvasam u'niyanim v'mishne nigasam baruch atah Adonai v'samech chasan im hakala. Amen. Okay, it's a great blessing to drink from the leftovers of the cup from Katan and Salah. Is to represent the destruction of Jerusalem. So we know that Jerusalem is still destroyed. We have not been rebuilt yet, because even though Jerusalem is a modern city, but there are still tragedies going on as we speak in the Holy Land. And our hearts and minds are never far away from what's going on there. And so you are sensitive to the fact that the world is not perfect yet. But you have rebuilt a little bit of Jerusalem right here, because your souls that were shattered, that were split at birth, have come together as one. And we should only rebuild and only have simchas and happy times together until Jerusalem is finally rebuilt. Break the glass.
My right hand?
Yeah, right foot. Mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, Mazel tov, Simcha Tov,